Admiral Zexathara's mandibles clicked with satisfaction as he reviewed the star charts on his command deck. 700 worlds had fallen before his third armada, each conquest adding another jewel to the crown of the hegemony empire. From the crystal cities of Vex Prime to the floating metropolises of Aqua Tertius, civilizations had either surrendered immediately upon seeing his fleet's might or been crushed within solar cycles. Admiral, his tactical officer, Commander Vrillock, approached with the reverence due to one of the galaxy's most feared military minds. We've entered the outer system of the target world. The locals call it Earth. Zexathara's 4 eyes focused on the tactical display, a single yellow star unremarkable in every way, orbited by 9 planetary bodies. The third from the star glowed blue and green, another water world. His antennae twitched with disdain. Water worlds were always the most pathetic. Their inhabitants grew soft, complacent, relying on their planet's natural barriers rather than developing proper military strength. Composition of their fleet? He asked, though he already knew the answer would disappoint him. That's curious, sir. Our long-range sensors detect no orbital defense platforms, no battle stations, no fleet formations. Vrillock's secondary arms moved nervously over his console. In fact, sir, we're detecting remarkably little space traffic for a world with over 7 billion inhabitants. Zexathara's laugh was a harsh, chittering sound that echoed across the bridge. 7 billion beings living on a single world with no apparent space defenses. It was almost insulting. Perhaps they haven't noticed us yet. Open a communication channel to their planet. The view screen flickered to life, displaying the blue marble of Earth growing larger as the third armada approached. 15,000 warships, each one capable of glassing a continent, moved in perfect formation through the void. Inhabitants of the world designated Earth. Zexathara's voice boomed across all frequencies, translated by universal communication matrices. I am Admiral Zexathara of the Hegemony Empire. Your world has been selected for incorporation into our domain. You have 1 standard cycle to surrender unconditionally. Failure to comply will result in total annihilation. He settled back in his command throne, mandibles clicking in amusement. Usually by now, panicked transmissions would be flooding his communications array. Desperate pleas for mercy, offers of tribute, sometimes even pathetic attempts at negotiation. The silence that greeted him was unusual. Sir, Vrillock reported after several minutes. No response from the planet. Perhaps their communication systems are primitive, Zexathara mused. Move us closer. Make our presence more obvious. The third armada descended into Earth's outer solar system, passing the orbit of a red planet the humans called Mars. Still nothing. No response, no panic, no acknowledgement whatsoever of 15,000 warships approaching their homeworld. As they passed the asteroid belt, something caught Zexathara's attention. Commander, what are those objects scattered throughout this debris field? Vrillock enhanced the sensors. Unknown, sir. They appear to be artificial constructs, but they're not broadcasting any identification signals. They're just sitting there, dormant. Weapons platforms? Possibly, sir, but they're not powering up. No energy signatures beyond basic life support systems. Zexathara's unease grew as they continued their approach. The objects weren't threatening. They weren't doing anything at all. But their very presence suggested a level of space-based infrastructure that contradicted the initial assessment of Earth as a backward world. Sir, Vrillock's voice cracked with sudden alarm. The objects, they're moving. On the tactical display, thousands of previously inert constructs throughout the asteroid belt suddenly blazed to life. What had appeared to be debris or abandoned stations revealed themselves as something far more sophisticated. Weapons platforms, yes, but unlike anything in Zexathara's considerable experience. Evasive maneuvers. He barked, but it was too late. The first salvo came not as energy beams or missile barrages, but as something far worse. Kinetic projectiles accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. Invisible until the moment of impact, they punched through the shields of his lead ships as if they weren't there. How? Zexathara's question died as his flagship's bridge erupted in sparks and alarms. 3 of his dreadnoughts simply disappeared. No explosion, no debris field, just gone. Admiral! Vrillock's panic was infectious now. We're detecting massive energy buildups throughout their solar system. There are installations on their moon, on Mars, in the asteroid belt, even in orbit around their gas giants. How did we miss them? The answer came in the form of a calm, measured voice across all frequencies. Human, male, speaking in perfect hegemony standard. Admiral Zexthera of the Third Armada. This is Fleet Admiral Chen of the Terran Defense Coalition. We received your message approximately 17 minutes ago. We chose not to respond immediately because we were curious to see how close you would come before recognizing the trap. Zexthera's blood turned to ice. Trap? You see, Admiral, we've been monitoring your Empire's expansion for quite some time. We know about the 700 worlds you've conquered. We know about your tactics, your strengths, your weaknesses. The human's voice remained maddeningly calm as Zexthera's fleet continued to take devastating losses. We've been preparing for this visit for over 50 years. Another wave of kinetic strikes tore through the Third Armada. Ships that had terrorized entire sectors were being picked apart with surgical precision. The thing about humans, Admiral, Fleet Admiral Chen continued, is that we're excellent students. We learn, we adapt, and we have a saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, you won't get a second chance. Return fire! All ships, return fire, Zexthera screamed, but his weapons found only empty space. The human installations were hidden, camouflaged, or simply too small and maneuverable to target effectively. Oh, and Admiral? Chen's voice carried a note of what humans called dark humor. About those 700 worlds you conquered? Funny thing about space, it's really quite large, easy to hide things in, especially when you're not looking for them. As if summoned by his words, space itself seemed to ripple around the battered remains of Zexthera's fleet. Ships materialized from nothing. Human ships, sleek and deadly, emerging from some form of advanced stealth technology. The hegemony empire ends here, Fleet Admiral Chen announced. Any vessel that wishes to surrender may do so now. Any vessel that does not will be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to decide. Zexthera looked at his tactical display. Of his 15,000 ships, fewer than 3,000 remained combat-capable. Around them, an Earth fleet of equal size had appeared as if from nowhere, while automated defense platforms continued their methodical destruction of his armada. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Zexthera of the Hegemony Empire did something he had never done before. He surrendered. Later, as his surviving crew was processed by human forces, Zexthera learned the truth that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Earth hadn't been caught unprepared. They had been waiting, preparing, planning, and they had been very, very patient. The humans, it turned out, were excellent at playing dead, until it was time to bite back.